It was another defining moment for our environment as Halifax Regional Municipality hosted the 2010 National Symposium on Parks and Grounds, Nova Scotia Provincial and National Awards Ceremonies. It was a blooming, great event.
These kind of programs exist in Europe. Here in Canada, what we as park managers were looking at was to exchange information from one part of the country to another. We looked at those programs and say, well, why don't we create one? And being Canadians, we said, hey, we'll do it our way.
With respect to this conference here, one of the things that has really impressed me when you talk to people, and I do like to talk to people, is how much we really have in common. When you talk gardens and the environment, it's really about making life better for all of us, everywhere.
Well, actually, becoming involved with the Communities in Bloom was something that really made me realize that, you know, I could make a difference. Something needs to be done, or there's a crisis or something. Everybody comes together and really makes it happen. So it really makes you feel good that you're part of that.
A lot of cities take a very different approach when it comes to beautification, saying, well, you know, our budgets are strapped and we can't afford it. It adds to the economic vitality of a city. It brings in tourists, it brings in revenues, property values go up. Those are all defining moments in any city, can be, should be for every city.
The defining moment for me, without a doubt, is just sitting back and looking through a crystal ball and watching the impact that sport tourism has on our community. You walk down the street or answer the telephone and the hotel community, the volunteer community, restaurants, whoever it is, to say, you know, really thank you for the work that you do to really drive our community and make it what it really is.
A defining moment for me was when we first got involved with Communities in Bloom way back in 1995 in its inaugural year. And it just really hit home how through community involvement, community engagement, like I say, whether it's that River and Creek Stewardship Group, the neighborhood gardeners, or people beautifying their local playground or park, that you can make such a huge difference in your community.
My name is Liz Close, and I'm from Niagara-on-the-Lake, Ontario. A defining moment in my life and what it meant to me. I think there was probably one particular situation that was most challenging in my life. It was a job interview, and it was probably the most difficult moment in my life, and yet they called me and they offered me the job, so I guess I overcame that.
I'm Debbie Scully, and I'm from Colchester, Ontario. The year my husband and I packed up our tandem bike on the airplane and flew to England. And we tandem rode around England for 2 weeks. It was not something I ever thought that I would do or could do. And after doing that, I felt that it opened me up to do things that maybe challenged me a little more than I ever would have before.
My name's Grant Longard, and I'm from Halifax, Nova Scotia. I was hired at the government of Halifax Regional Municipality, and I was hired as a graphic designer, web designer, and I eventually got involved in a lot of environmental initiatives, and it was a real eye-opener for me, and it made me feel like I could at least make a difference in my community, and I've felt great about that. You know, I think we all need to do our part to make a difference.
My name is Brian Phelan, and I'm from Halifax Regional Municipality, Halifax, Nova Scotia. I would say it was in 1998. The International Society of Arboriculturists Conference was in Birmingham, England, and we decided that our whole family would go. We would turn it into an education and vacation opportunity, so we took 3 weeks. It was a real opportunity of a lifetime to share that with the family, and that'll be a lifetime memories out of that.
I'm going to say probably the defining moment in my professional life would be when I became manager of support services with Community Living Stratford. And so we support about 130 people with intellectual disabilities. And just to see it grow over the years and becoming really inclusive in Stratford, it's made me appreciate the simple things in life. I don't need to have a lot of money. I don't need to have a big fancy house. I just want to be included in my community and loved and cherished and valued for who I am.
When I was studying university where to go, and I found that there is some branch, garden and landscape architect. So that was suddenly the moment that I realized that it's together what I want to do, that it's flowers and nature and landscape. I really love what I'm doing now.
The defining moment for me was sitting in the Guildhall in London in the year 2003 as guest of the Mayor of London, City of London, and that year we won our category in Britain in Bloom. And that was also the year that the Royal Horticultural Society of Great Britain took over the campaign in the UK and started to award medals. So that really was the turning point for us, that the Royal Horticultural Society was becoming involved in the campaign in the UK. And since that time, we've had quite a few defining moments because we've now won 3 gold medals from the RHS, which is quite an achievement.
I went on a 1-month trip down in the States. It was called National Outdoor Leadership School. And we crossed the Continental Divide, sort of hiked from one side to the other side. And it ended up being 5 weeks because there was high water and we had trouble crossing rivers and stuff. But I came through it and it was a great experience. And like I say, it's always stayed with me. Even when I've been through some really difficult and dark times in my life, I know that I'm strong inside.
Probably for me, our first child was born. That was a very defining moment for me. Becoming a mom at a young age, not really knowing exactly what to do, but it was a very cherished moment, and you know, I always remember that, you know, deeply. It moved me deeply, and I think since then, as I'm getting older, I really appreciate what having a child is, and children, and the whole cycle. You know, I really, you know, feel very emotional about that sort of thing.
The definingmoment.ca is brought to you by Call to Recycle, recharging the planet, recycling your batteries. Do you have a defining moment? Log on to thedefiningmoment.ca and share it with us.